everyone, and welcome to Beneath the Hollow Moon, where folklore burns slow and the strange never fades. I'm your host, Kerrilynn Shellhorn, and you are listening to us live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. I am joined by my fabulous co-host, Lorilei Potvin, and today we are traveling the trail. We are following the trail of Bradshaw Ranch. We have been talking about this for weeks. Weeks. Mm-hmm. My youngest kiddo is super excited about it. I was surprised that he knew about it, and then he told me that his friends that are in the states that he plays online games with knew about it, and they were very excited. So,
well,
they'll be even more excited with our guest.
But we're different tonight because normally we dress up for the theme and we're really spooky. We're still dark. We're getting a thunderstorm right now, but we have a special guest coming on very in a few minutes, very shortly. I felt like I knew him my whole life the first time I met him. I could have talked to him for hours. Thank God he had company coming in from out of town the first time I met him. Wait till you guys see who we have on tonight.
We did a poll. Do you want me to do the poll?
Yeah, do the poll. Yeah. I'm going to get that bio ready here so I can.
Amanda, I saw your post, so that helped me because I forgot to go in and get the.
You're pulling it up. Hi, guys. As you're all filing in, good to see you here. We're live on TikTok tonight. They finally gave it back to me. I saved it. So we are over there, everybody. So I want to say hi if you're over on TikTok. Hang on tight. Hi, Richie C. I see you over there. I hope you stay. Please leave your questions, your comments. This show is very interactive as Kerrilynn is pulling up the poll. And you guys don't show up on the same chat as the main chat, but I pop back and forth the whole show. So we will definitely be including you for sure. And we're glad you could join us. When she's got our poll ready.
Okay. We got it. Sorry, folks. It took me a second.
That's okay. I love your polls.
So we do the poll on Kerrilynn's Off the Porch. So the channel over on Facebook. And the post I put up today was tonight on Beneath the Hollow Moon, we are discussing Bradshaw Ranch. What do you think is really happening at Bradshaw Ranch? So I put residual haunting, interdimensional portal, alien activity, government cover-up, or all of the above. And the majority of folks voted all of the above. A few voted residual haunting, a few interdimensional portal, a few alien activity, and one lone person put government cover up.
What did you choose?
Oh, all of the above.
So did I. Should we say hi to everyone?
Cover up.
Yes. Should we say hi to everyone and then we'll pull on our special guest that's been so great. He's been so gracious to come on because it was kind of a last minute kind of thing. And you guys love him because he's been on the Angel Rock, I think at least 3 times, and he's coming on again in the new year. I can't wait.
Hi, Sandy. So Sandy is chiming in from Prince Edward Island.
Oh.
Mort Ali, hello. Thank you for being here. Amanda D-Box, thank you so much. She is saying, I watched a documentary on Bradshaw Ranch today so I could vote on the poll. I wasn't familiar with it. And did you go down a rabbit hole for the rest of the afternoon? Because there is so much.
Well, she also added, looking forward to hearing what you ladies think. Well, wait till you hear who we have as a guest. Because there's nothing like talking to someone who has been there, experienced it, written about it, and been on many TV shows and documentaries, Coast to Coast AM.
I have my questions ready.
I know you did. I didn't even get a chance to tell him that.
I know. I had the questions ready before we even knew that he was going to be coming on. So it's even more exciting. So Julie Dow, hello. Thank you so much. She's saying good evening, ladies. Thank you for being here.
Ooh, I got to push the right button here.
Mish is our friend in Australia. She is saying good day, Lorilei.
Yes. And she said good day, Kerrilynn below.
Oh, Thank you. Thank you. Denise Smits, hello. Happy Thursday to you.
And Mish is saying morning because, of course, I always tease her and say she's in the future being in Australia because it's Friday morning over there. I went too high here. I swear to God, StreamYard, I do not like the changes that it has made since it's been sold.
Yeah, the comments are hard to click off and on, and the way they roll, we miss some of them. So if we miss people, just know that it's not purposeful. So Fiona Clark, hello. Thank you so much for being here.
Same thing I learned with a guest. They were going to stream to their platforms, which our guests can do. You now have to click a button to do it. I found out. It just doesn't automatically happen.
Cindy Waghorn, Surrender and Shine. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Mar and Levi. Hello, hello, hello.
Oh my God, my computer does not want to play nice tonight.
Contessa Martins, hello. Thank you very much for being here. Mish, I put the poll on my public Facebook page. So on the channel. So the channel is Kerrilynn, Kerrilynn's Off the Porch.
Yeah.
So I put
from Messenger, I think.
Yeah, it goes through Messenger.
Mm-hmm. So, Contessa, you sent me something very intriguing and I haven't had a chance to see it yet. I'm going to tell you it was about reincarnation, and I had about 10 videos come up that day, plus people sending them. So thank you very, very much. Have you ladies got your coffee? I know you and Mish are always talking about your coffee.
Jody Schott, hello. Thank you very much for being here. She's saying hello.
There's that Amanda saying.
Oh, you did go down the rabbit hole. Welcome.
Welcome.
Kirby's 100, hello.
We've got Julie Jean Bassett here saying hello. Oh, geez, I almost lost that. You guys, I'm going to give you a quick shout out. I always do for Julie. Incredible animal communicator, one of my mentors. I've taken her beginner animal communication course. If you have issues with your pets, and I'm talking about things that are ready to pull your hair out, you don't know what you're going to do, Julie's your person. She has worked with some of my fur babies, your fur babies, Kerrilynn, some of the people in the chat. She's also an incredible shamanic practitioner. So you can get a hold of her at either one of those things at juliejeanbassett.com for the animal communication. She's also a medium, and so she can talk to them across the Rainbow Bridge and people too. And for the shamanic practitioner work, I've had a session myself. It was life-changing. And you can reach her at whitetailshamanichealing.com. Please also do not forget, and I have signed up, so if you join, you will see me there October the 11th, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I thought it was a Thursday. It's not. It's a Saturday night. Julie is teaching a course on animal chakras and animal healing and energy fields and all kinds of things. I cannot wait for it. So I wanted to shout that out. So thanks, Kerrilynn, for letting me do that.
Of course.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. Lisa Johnson is saying it's her first time participating.
Hello.
Thank you so much thank you for being here.
Thank you. Welcome. And Julie, please feel free to post a link to your course if you want. Okay. Here's our friend. All of you guys are our friends.
Yeah. Astrolight Paranormal. So Victoria is saying hello or hi, Kerrilynn and Lorilei. I'm in a meeting this evening. Looking forward to watching the reply. Well, thank you for doing that quick little shout out during your meeting. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Carrie Fass, hello from Calgary. I don't know anything about Bradshaw Ranch. Well, you will know a lot and insider information this evening, so I'm glad you're intrigued. And I didn't realize you were in Calgary. That's where my son moved to.
I didn't know that you were. We had a lot of Canadians here tonight.
Yep.
We're both in Canada too.
Mm-hmm. No, Cindy Waghorn, I saw a recent group of UFOs at Bradshaw Ranch on a video from September 9th.
Yeah, a lot. And then we've got, I think this is our last one. I'll check TikTok.
Vanessa Burwell, always a pleasure to see you guys.
Happy to see you. Are we ready? First time we've had a guest on this show, you guys. So I'm going to read his bio. As my page just decided to escape me. Here we go. So Tom Dongo. He deals with paranormal, ufology, ET researcher, remote viewer, medical intuitive. Let me read his illustrious bio. Tom Dongo is a long resident of Sedona, Arizona. He is recognized as a world authority and one of the United States of America's leading authorities on UFOs, paranormal occurrences, and a remote viewer. And over the course of many years, key lecturer at numerous U.S. national and international conferences, including the International UFO Congress. He studied at Berkeley International Psychic Institute in Santa Cruz, California, and has spent the last 30 years in the greater Sedona, Arizona area, which is known as one of the premier UFO hotspots of the world. Mr. Dongo is a writer of mainstream magazine articles and the author of 8 books on the paranormal, including Mysteries of Sedona, The New Age Frontier, then The Alien Tide, Mysteries of Sedona, that's book 2. I'm going to read them all because you got to check them all out. The Quest, and it says The Quest, 26 who have answered the call to Sedona, peak of their spiritual quests and experiences. The Quest in Pursuit of the Ultimate Mastery, Merging Dimensions, Volume 1. The Opening Portals of Sedona, Everything You Want to Know About Sedona in a Nutshell, Unseen Beings, Unseen World. But the book that we're going to be talking, of course, I lost my page with it. Give me a sec, guys. I have it because this is what we are going to be talking about tonight, and it's most important. Is merging
dimensions.
Merging dimensions, the opening of portals in Sedona. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss a word. I got to pull them on right now. Hey, Tom, welcome.
Wonderful to be on your show again.
I know. And I kept telling Kerrilynn, and she said, we got to have him on. Oh, look at Julie just said, yay. Hi, Tom. She's the one that connected me with you, Tom, and I'm so glad that she did.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
So, Kerrilynn, we wanted to ask him, the first question you had written down, I think it's a great idea, because we talked a bit about Bradshaw Ranch on the Angel Rock, but we didn't get into it. So what's the first question you asked him? Because we wanted to know why, right?
Yeah. What was the original pull? How did that experience even begin?
Yeah, it's actually quite when I first came to Sedona, I'd written a couple of books, and I'd heard about the Bradshaw Ranch, the mysterious stuff that goes on out there, but I didn't know any of the Bradshaw. So right about that time, I got a letter from Linda Bradshaw. She enclosed a bunch of photographs, strange stuff, mostly orbs. Linda Bradshaw and Linda Crystal in New York are the founders of the whole orb thing around the world. Mm-hmm. Pine Bush, New York. So I then she got an invitation. She said, "Can you please come out?" So I shoe leather over the hill. I was over there the next day. I spent 4.5 years with Linda and Bob, and at 2 or 3 days a week. And I even stayed out there some nights. And Linda and I have had experiences that are world famous, and it's in my book, Merging Dimensions, which it's going to be translated into 7 languages soon. We're working on the deal right now. Yeah. So anyway, so I said I have said that we have, Linda and I had the probably a few people on this planet have ever had the experiences we've had. And I'm in close contact with the Skinwalker Ranch, and I know Brandon Fugel that owns the Skinwalker Ranch, so I know a lot about Bradshaw Ranch, and it's basically it's bad stuff that happens on the Skinwalker Ranch, but there's always good stuff on the Bradshaw Ranch. So it was a heck of an experience. I'm pushing 81 now, so I don't go out in the field anymore, but I got ears everywhere. I mean, people, I hear constantly about stuff that's going on. I get photographs. And you were talking about that video that was taken out at the Linda Moulton Howe just had that on about the crabs. Yeah, I'm going to close this blind. Hold on a second.
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get even into a little bit about the history, because we do have some people here that I have never heard of Bradshaw Ranch or what is it. Now, I know a little bit about the history, but I know you probably know a heck of a lot more. So how did Bradshaw Ranch come to be? Like that it was there like a homestead, as I understand, and then it kind of merged and evolved, but I know you probably know more about that.
Yeah, the Bob Bradshaw. There's been a lot of misconceptions about the Bradshaw Ranch. I hear them all the time. As long as they know not bad, I don't care. As long as they're good, it's fine with me. But Bob bought the Bradshaw Ranch in 1949, and he was there were about 40 major motion pictures filmed in Sedona.
Yeah.
John Wayne, Elvis Presley, most of the famous women stars. Yeah. And so there was a ghost, an old West town that was built on the Bradshaw Ranch. And it's not there anymore. I think they burned it into a show. They paid for it and burned it. So, but anyway, I've got, by the way, how much time, if I get onto one of my stories,
we're good. I told 2 hours. So I know by 2 hours, get a little bit much, but we got to almost 9 o'clock. So almost till 6 o'clock your time.
Because if you don't shut me up, I won't. I could get going on these stories. I've had 3 shows that I was telling so many true stories. They said, Tom, it's your show now. We'll follow you.
I already told Kerrilynn that. I said, this is going to be an easy show because I know Tom. He'll just.
But I do have more questions that I want to ask. So, and hopefully questions that, are not questions that keep getting regurgitated to you,
That's all right. I've told many of these stories hundreds of times.
You know what?
Did you see
had
that?
A red orb go across the screen, Tom.
You need to mark the time so we can go back and check the video later.
Okay. You just had a bright red orb looking at the screen at you. It'll probably be on your left.
Left to right.
This right across, bright red like a light.
From your right to left.
You're right. Yeah, because it's backwards.
Boy, a lot of that stuff's been happening lately, worldwide.
Yes. So that's one of my questions, actually. Do you feel like that there's intensity because of the energy and the frequency, or is it because we're just people are noticing more? People are more.
Well, I'm one of the world's top remote viewers. I proved it.
I love remote viewing.
Yeah. So.
Tom, guess who she's had? I told you this on her show, Maureen St. Germain. I brought you up in the chat actually when she had Maureen on.
Oh, yeah. Maureen's. I was over there the other day. We signed a contract. We're going to do our remote viewing classes that Maureen St. Germain and I had.
I'm taking it.
She's digitalized them. So she's
online. I'm taking it.
Yeah. They're going to be online, and she's working on. Yeah, she's working on a flyer now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So I mean, we had so much fun. Maureen St. Germain is a fabulous person, especially when she's on air. She's So Maureen taught the military version of remote viewing, and I taught she used to joke about it, the Tom Dongo method. We did all right. So
I got you to talk a bit about it the last time you were on, so people could at least get a little inkling of how to start with your method.
Yeah, well, it's if we get into remote viewing, we'll be here all night.
Yes, and we're about Bradshaw tonight.
But I would love to talk to you about remote viewing because I could talk remote viewing all day too.
Yeah. There are a lot of great remote viewers. I mean, I've had a person call me, as a woman, she called me one time and she said, well, told me all this. I said, you're an awesome remote viewer. And she didn't even know it, but I said, so we went over the stuff she told me, and she was a fantastic, and I was born with the ability. I didn't learn it. Remote viewing.
Kerrilynn's a pretty amazing remote viewer. As I told you earlier, and I'm going to brag about Kerrilynn because she won't. Kerrilynn should be on TV. I am a medium. Kerrilynn is kick the butt of anybody with me. I'm going to brag about you, Kerrilynn.
Good.
She's an incredible medium, remote viewer, like you name it. Mm-hmm.
Well, you get a couple of real. I mean, everybody's a walk-in or a remote viewer or something, but the good ones. I had a friend that was she was government trained from Los Alamos on psychic abilities and remote viewing, and we had more fun because remote viewing you can go. This time doesn't exist. You can go in the past, you can go in the future, and distance doesn't matter.
Nope.
So So we would travel, and we could talk. I mean, she was government trained. I mean, the top-notch stuff. But we could travel around the universe and talk about what we were seeing. And it was
okay, so speaking of remote viewing, did you pull that in with your experiences with Bradshaw Ranch? Because I want to pull in still with the question that you asked, Kerrilynn, because I think it's important. I want people to know all about this. And I thought, what better person to have on than you? What was the question again, Kerrilynn?
If the energy is increasing, or the frequency and intensity of experiences are amping up, like we're seeing more, or is it because people are paying attention more, like we're noticing more?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. Yeah, it's a little bit of everything. But, I something's going on this planet right now that I've challenged the best remote. I've been on over 100 million listeners. So I've been on, you're the 108th show I think I've been on worldwide. And I've challenged the best.
First guest.
Yeah, right.
It's true.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of something snide to say, but I can't think of it.
No. We're just gonna have fun. No story.
We're gonna have fun.
But there's something using my remote viewing ability on and off. There's something very strange going on this planet right now. I can't, and I've challenged other remote viewers to look to and compare what I've talked about. But so I don't know what it is. I really don't. But there's.
Do you feel there's a connection between Bradshaw Ranch and those other, like Skinwalker Ranch and the other places?
Blind Frog
Ranch. Yeah.
Blind Frog. Yeah. I watched a video this morning. It's a new one out, and I hadn't seen it before, and the woman that made it, I knew she was trying. I knew for years she said she was trying to do it. Well, she's done it. It's out. But Benjamin Lone Tree, he's a scientist, and he had his equipment out there on the Bradshaw Ranch, and so did History Channel and the new Skinwalker shows.
Beyond Skinwalker.
Beyond Skinwalker. Yeah, they were out, and they proved. The funny thing about it happened with the ancient aliens too. They found out that they were going to be working with Tom Dongo, and they canceled their permit. Anyway, they got a lot of good stuff, and the tunnel was drilled under the Bradshaw Ranch, and a U.S. congressman called a friend of mine, and he said Tom Dongo is basically right about the tunnel. But it starts from Area 51, goes to Las Vegas, goes to the Navajo Army Depot, which is all there are nuclear weapons up there. It's a storage place for ammunition, and then it goes to Secret Canyon. And Secret Canyon is.
I was reading about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange place.
Well, why do you think it is, Tom? Because that's one of my. I've told you since I've met you, Sedona is one of my bucket list places I would love to visit. But can you give people an idea of some of the high strangeness? Because there's people here that have never heard of this before. So why is it famous? Why is it kind of akin to Skinwalker in a way? But what's going on there that's got all this attention and that you've written about?
Yeah, well, it's all red rocks, iron oxide. Iron oxide is magnetic. So I think it's got something to do with that, because it's all red rocks around here. And it's rust. If you scratch one of the red rocks around here, it's white underneath. So the rocks are covered with rust. So
yeah, but there's aliens. You guys, I heard about the female Bigfoot that you called Big Girl.
Yeah, white girl. Yeah.
There's disappearing helicopters. There's been paranormal. There's all this stuff. Am I missing anything, Kerrilynn, that you could
shimmering
think of?
Lights?
Yes.
This shimmering lights.
It's changed. I mean, it's still constant. And the whole activity around here, I mean, I'm the top expert on this. I don't know, but I think it has something to do with the iron oxide and the red rocks, the magnetic. And so I mean, okay, I tell you, get me started on stories. I'm going to be here for 2 days.
That's what we want. What I'm going to add to this, okay, when I was reading about the compass, and if you get a compass, it'll spin. Where I am in Thunder Bay in northwestern Ontario, Canada, there is something very strange here. We have every kind of paranormal activity. There's raw natural amethyst everywhere. We're known for Melody Stone or Super Sevens and Orlite 23. We are supposedly on shale. You cannot get true north on a compass here. So is it the magnetics, you think, that this started it, or what?
Well, there's some pretty weird things that go on around Thunder Bay that I've a lot of it, weird Bigfoot stuff.
I know. Dogman, Bigfoot. I have alien stuff. I mean, the haunting stuff people have sent me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's one. I saw a show a long time ago on I think it was YouTube that it talked about Thunder Bay, and then south, the states, that peninsula that goes out. I've heard that the big feet are normally not dangerous at all. I mean, I've researched big feet since 16 years old, and they're not a dangerous creature, but occasionally they can be, and I have no idea why. But that peninsula, that's some of the strangest, worst activity of Bigfoot that I know of, and Dogman. I've traveled all over North America. I've been all over Canada. I've been all over the U.S. and in Alaska and the Yukon, and I'm glad I didn't know about Dogman 50, 60 years ago. I'm glad I didn't know about them.
Have you heard of the bear dogs? We could ask you so many things. We're supposed to be talking about Bradshaw Ranch. See, I get into this. Kerrilynn, you got to keep you on track because we found out about bear dogs. But go ahead and ask Tom, and then we'll get some personal stories. I'll stop because I could just get Tom going off on all kinds of things with my ADHD.
I do this all. I do. When I used to do talks all over the place, stage talks, and I'd be talking about, I'll say remote viewing, and I'd wander. I'd be talking about something else. I say, somebody remind me. Just shout out, Tom, you're supposed to be talking about remote viewing.
Okay, Kerrilynn's going to get you on track. It's me the problem. So Kerrilynn, you go ahead.
Okay. You have photographed like orbs and anomalies, all kinds of high strangeness. So is there one piece of evidence or a photo that you feel has been misunderstood or underappreciated?
Well, here's my Merging Dimensions, my book, and it's a bestseller for me now. The Incredible Saga of the Bradshaw Ranch, and that's a picture of the Bradshaw Ranch at night. And you see in the background that windmill. Yeah. That windmill has been the strangest. I never went up there because of rattlesnakes. Bob warned me about rattlesnakes, so I didn't go up there. And there was a friend of mine from Chile. Alejandro Roja was just here. He did a video in Spanish. It's a long one, but he's got some good footage on there. He ran into a 7-foot rattlesnake. At the rattlesnake. It was a.
I remember now you said rattlesnake. There's reports of almost like dinosaurs up there too on Bradshaw.
Oh yeah. When Linda Bradshaw, it's happened twice. We had when I wasn't there that day, but the Bradshaws had a woman and her 9-year-old girl visiting, and a dinosaur walked down the wash that goes around the ranch. It was about 7 or 8 feet tall, and it was a dinosaur, tail and the whole deal. And then Linda, one night, the only time Linda ever got mad at me, she was a sweetheart. Bob and Linda are both gone now; they're passed on. But Linda, one night, so we used 35 millimeter cameras. What we did, we'd walk around at night and just shoot film, and then next day develop them. And Linda, I was only maybe 30 feet from her, and she was screaming at me. I didn't hear anything.
Oh,
and
really?
she was looking at 2 dinosaurs, those
no way
50-foot tall ones that can eat off the top of trees,
no way.
Yeah. So she came over and she was really pissed off at me. She said, "Couldn't you hear me?" And I mean, I could have tossed a tennis ball and hit her. I said, "No, I didn't. I didn't see him. I didn't see anything."
So
but
you
she
never
did.
saw them, and she
Okay,
did. Go
so
ahead,
Right.
that comes to a question that I have, though. No different than spirits, right? Is it all frequency that's laid over top? So, like, they're not choosing us, it just our frequencies are matching at the time, so we're seeing it. Could she have been tapped in at that frequency and you were tapped in at a different frequency? Why do you think that it would be that you didn't and she did?
Yeah, well, you know, the portal was at the Bradshaw Ranch. It was about 50 feet south of the ranch. It was about 30 or 40 feet across, a big one. Linda could see it. I couldn't. And the funny thing, I was flying around the History Channel one day. It's a pinyon pine. They only grow maybe 10 feet, but this one's about 50 feet. They don't get that big. But it was split like it was hit with an axe, just chopped right down the middle. It was flopped over both sides. And so that there's strange things that happen at the Bradshaw Ranch. It still does. I mean, you know, you know, like I say, Benjamin Lone Tree is a scientist, and he had equipment out there, and they have filmed. Benjamin's got a camera. It's called SLS or something like that. It's an expensive.
Yeah, I know. We know what that is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We both do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's filmed. You know, you film a person. It looks like a stick figure. You know, the arms are stick figures. And so they were at the ranch one night, and they were filming these things. And one came over and sat in the guy's lap, and held his shoulder like this. And he says, "My God, I can feel that." Showed the creature walking across. It was in the ranch house, walking across the floor, and this thing sat on his lap, and he could feel it. And so since then, they've filmed a number of them. And
I saw you in a fan, in a ceiling fan, because I know the SLS is a little questionable in the paranormal field, right, Kerrilynn? Like sometimes you can't fly.
But the whole like rubbing your shoulder thing, it's doing a movement that would not be tracking like the legs of a chair.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's very strange. That's too scientific for me. I don't understand it, but I've seen the videos. And this morning, I only watched half of it. But I can't remember her name. Heather is her first name. But anyway, what I was going to say is the bizarre electromagnetic whatever happens on the Bradshaw Ranch, same frequencies happen on the Skinwalker Ranch.
Is that the 1.6 gigahertz that comes up all the time? Yeah.
And you know, and I was starting to talk about the History Channel and the new Skinwalker show. They did because the Bradshaws, when the tunnels were drilled, you know, so it went under the Bradshaw Ranch, and Bob said everything was shaking. The windmill was shaking, and so the ground penetrating radar, they proved it that the tunnel does exist under the Bradshaw Ranch. It was on
beyond the Skinwalker.
Yeah, beyond Skinwalker.
So why is the tunnel there?
Yeah, that's what I'd like to know. You know, there's a funny thing going on around here with the U.S. military and alien extraterrestrials. And you know, I've been in it up to my eyeballs, and I've never been bothered. So, but you know, on the Bradshaw, I've got photographs. So there's two cameras up on the hill above the Bradshaw Ranch, and the U.S. military. One's pointed straight up at the sky, one's pointed straight at the ranch. And so why? What's you know? They you know, there hasn't been much military activity on the ranch, but in the 90s anyway, there were, I call it machine gun incidents around here. The hikers were stopped in just about all the canyon. There's 7 major canyons, and they're shaped like a half a wagon wheel. And the one I finally got first person I interviewed him. His name was Light, and he was in Secret Canyon walking on the trail. And these guys, they all have U.S. military uniforms on, every instance, and but no insignia. And I've had
That's weird.
a lot of high-ranking colonel friends in the military, so I'd ask them, and they say, yeah, those are all. But in two of those guys, when Light ran into, they had orange suits on. And one of my colonel friends said, that's bizarre because they only wear orange when there's aircraft around, landing or whatever. So
like high vis. Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, there's another story I'll tell you. So anyway, Light's going along. I think it was 6 guys, and they had M16s.
Oh wow!
They can be machine guns. And so they blocked the trail, and they said, you can't go any further because it's a military reserved zone. There's military activity going on in there. And he said, well, he's not the guy. He says, well, no, I'm going that way. It's a public trail. It's a national forest canyon. I'm going that way. And a guy stuck an M16 right in his nose. He said, you take one more step and I'll pull the trigger. So naturally, he turned around and went back. But there was an Apache kid. He was full-blooded Apache. This is the last one that I know of. But there were at least 35 incidents like that in the canyons. But these people don't lie. I mean, they're telling the truth. They don't. There's no money in it. There's no.
Well, there's pictures too, like the pictographs on the rocks.
Yeah. Oh boy, I wish I had one to show you. It's a Bigfoot. Probably 2,000
I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Bigfoot.
So who was Big Girl? I heard that she was named. Did Linda name her Big Girl, the Bigfoot?
Yeah, Linda could see it. I never. I saw a few strange tracks, but Linda got to be friends with Big Girl, the Bigfoot.
Okay.
And Linda would put high up, like grapes and fruit and whatnot, apples, that only a Bigfoot could reach. And in the morning it would be gone. And big feet leave sticks. They'll leave if they're saying thanks or something. They'll scrub a ground clear, then leave sticks in just certain patterns. And that happened many times. So they went out one day, and the around the ranch it's all beach sand. The ocean has come and gone 7 times here. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's all beach sand on the ranch. But a Bigfoot, it was it did like a angel in the snow, but it laid down. Yeah, it was about 8 feet tall. And even Bob Bradshaw, who was, when the first time Bob Bradshaw, he's been on national TV twice with this story, and he was in the yard. There used to be an apple orchard. Right there on the ranch, but it never worked. Wow. It was never enough. Yeah, it was never enough moisture for it to grow. But Bob was out there one day. Bob was just an Arizona redneck. He was a rancher, right? Horses and cattle. Mm-hmm. So Bob, a UFO, it was about 40 feet across, a disc, came over the top of the hill. Yeah. Excuse me. And it was only about 100 feet away from Bob, and it landed in the apple orchard, and it had about 50 orbs around it. That was it. That Bob. So Bob went back in the ranch house. He never come out again. Linda used to go in and say, "Bob, you've got to come out and see this." He wouldn't. He'd stay in there and watch TV.
No, if I don't see it, it doesn't exist.
Well, it changes everything. It changes your whole. It turns your life upside down, and what you believe is reality, and what isn't. It changes everything, and you can't go backwards.
No. Some people just can't handle it. Their consciousness just refuses.
Yeah.
Nope, doesn't exist, and that's it. So
a friend of mine has a property. And he does. So I'm going to share it really quickly. His podcast is Banter with Richie B,
Oh,
and
right.
they do a boots on the ground investigation. So they go live and you follow along with them while they're investigating on the property. And he has developed a relationship with the Sasquatches, plural, that are on his property, and they feed them and do the same thing. They call it a gifting chair, and they gift back all the time. They're developing a relationship. And I know that we've kind of had this conversation, because I said I don't feel that you can just have one area of high strangeness without the other. They all blend eventually. You're going to have the spirits and UFO and cryptids. You cannot have just one.
No, they're all connected somehow.
I agree.
Everything. And so
there's got to be something special about this ranch, though, that it seemed to me, I don't know all the answers, but the military wanted this space for something. And then, like you just said, Kerrilynn, you can't have one without the other. But this area seems to just...
That's what one of the questions I wrote, if the U.S. Forest Service acquired the land to shut down, the research, were they protecting something that they knew of, or protecting us from something that they knew of? Both? Yeah.
Well, listen to this. The University of Northern Arizona was they've leased the Bradshaw Ranch, because the Bradshaw Ranch is totally in ruins now. It's just...
I couldn't believe what I saw, because I watched the Bradshaw Ranch documentary today, and I was heartbroken with what I saw. So, and the Forest Service used to guard it. Now, there's been so many films done out there. They just do it. They take the crew out there and film it, but that used to be extremely illegal. And so if anybody tries to get a permit, they usually get turned down, because, and one of them said, are you associated with Tom Dongo? And they canceled their permit. It was the big outfit. Anyway, I can't remember. I've been on so many of them. I can't remember, but there's camera crews after camera crews have been out there doing filming, and the Forest Service doesn't bother me. They used to have shotgun guards there when the U.S. Forest Service. Were they private, Tom, or were they from the government? Like, Kerrilynn, that was a really good question you asked.
Yeah. Well, I've been studying this for 40 years, and I if you asked me to explain it, I couldn't.
And the change of hands was questionable too, right?
Yeah. Well, here's what I was going to talk about. So the University of Northern California I forgot what it's called, but it's a research. It was going to be a research facility on Arizona plants, and they started. And so I mean, this was like 7 years ago now. I think they read my books and it scared the hell out of them. I seriously think so, because they haven't done anything. They were going to tear all the ranch houses down and build dormitories on the
Dormitories.
And I think they read my books and they said, I don't think so.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I also find it fascinating when places like tear down old psych units and hospitals and build up condos and subdivisions. I think, same thing. That's a little
problems. 7-foot rattlesnakes and dinosaurs.
Oh, I got, some friends of mine, Jurgen Hess, it had a whole bunch of people out. There's a lot of, somebody, I thought, man, this is what nerve. Somebody took nice chairs, 20 of them, and put them in a circle right in front of the ranch house. 20 years ago, somebody would have gone to jail. But the Forest Service hasn't done anything. They haven't bothered. They're still out there.
Wow.
And they're nice chairs, too. So somebody was doing some pretty serious stuff out there. It still is. But so they were out there one night, and they were looking at the windmill. That windmill is a strange place. I never went up there in 4.5 years, mainly because Bob said, watch out for the rattlesnakes, because there was water there, so it would draw the rattlesnakes.
Nice.
And so anyway, he was out there with a bunch of people, and he said, let's try something. Everybody think of what it was a dead air night. There was no movement at all, just totally dead air. So he said, let's see if we can start the windmill. So they're all going, visualizing starting the windmill or whatever. So the blade started to spin. And they said, they were going, wow, that's good. So let's try to reverse it. I mean, that's impossible. So it slowed down, stopped, and it reversed. I've seen it. It's on video. So,
I think it could be possible because I have a stupid pet trick, I call it, with my pendulum, and I'll hold it and I'll tell you exactly what it's going to do. Yeah, now it's going to move back and forth. It's going to stop. If you had a collective, I could see that. Couldn't you, Kerrilynn?
Mm-hmm.
Never mind the frequency. Has the frequency been measured around there? Like I'm just dying to know. Like there has to be something there. I'm still fascinated by the underground tunnels. Go ahead, Kerrilynn. I saw you were going to ask.
Well, just when we talk about frequencies and things like that, having what I found fascinating was when Skinwalker Ranch had the indigenous community come out and they filmed while they were doing their drumming circle and their ceremony and all of the things that happened at that point. Did anything like that ever happen on Bradshaw Ranch? Did they try an experiment with that at all?
No, not that I know of.
And because you're right, like you do hear more of that aggressive, more frightening kind of experiences that are happening on Skinwalker versus Bradshaw, where there was more of still freak you out, but high strangeness things of a not so scary nature. So I wondered what kind of reaction would happen that way.
Well, there's about a $50,000 drone that they was flying around the Skinwalker Ranch, and something smacked it out of the air like a
way
mosquito. Yeah. So what was it? I'm always going, well, what the hell was it? So and I.
The rockets that they shot up stood still in the air.
Yeah. Right. Well, what they did around here was they put up drones. Like I think it was History Channel. They put up drones and they went just so far and they came back. They hit some kind of a wall.
I watched that.
Yeah.
They turned around and came back. It was crazy.
Yeah. So something really strange. The military knows something that nobody does around here, but they know something. And they're
Have you removed a tunnel that's there? Like, why would there be a tunnel there?
Well, to some extent, something, I really, Ross Coulthard from Australia just interviewed me, and he was and he was talking about stuff like that. And I told him stuff that I said, Ross, you can use this information, but don't put my name on it, And one of them's real.
You told me you were okay with that today.
Yeah, right.
But the thing is, if you're remote viewing in a space that is protected by the government, and the government has their own remote viewers,
right, exactly.
Know ahead of time or be able to tap in, right? Would they not shut you down?
Yeah.
Well, they could. They have people that are far more advanced than remote viewers. I'm trying to think of a story, but they have somebody, they can track you and come after you.
Yes, I've seen that.
And I've had it happen. I was at the airport, Sedona Airport one time, and I got the feeling that I was trained about this stuff at the Berkeley Psychic Institute. It felt like somebody, so I stopped and I focused. If somebody's focusing on you, it will leave a cord. It looks like a rope. Yep. So I followed it. I followed it all the way. And it came to Budapest, Hungary. So
no way.
And I'm coming down. I go into this room. I could talk about this forever. These experiences I've had like that, but so I'm looking at a man and a woman. They had black hair and they had black suit clothes on. So they both raised their heads like this and then looked up like this and started laughing. So they knew I was there. So stuff like that. I mean, that happens, and the government has, I know most of the U.S. government remote viewers, the best ones, like Joe McMonagle.
Yeah.
Not well, but I work with a colonel. He's a retired Air Force colonel, and we used to sit and compare notes and remote view stuff, and I'm way ahead of him. So I know a lot of the best, and I know Ingo. No, I don't know Ingo Swann and Russell
Right.
Targ, but I have compared my abilities to theirs. And
Right.
I'm nowhere near Ingo Swann, but Russell Targ, I can pretty much do what he does. So yeah, it's I would love. I've been given space on about 5 shows that I've been on. Well over 1 million listeners, and they let me teach remote viewing because I would like to turn everybody in this planet a good
I've
remote
been
viewer.
begging you to teach. So you know what,
Yeah.
Tom, we might just hit you up in the near future and say, hey, you wanna give people like a taster so that they can then take your course.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, in just a few words. My nose is itchy like crazy. It must be a demon here in the house or something. I don't know.
You got something there with that red light. What were you going to say, Kerrilynn? Sorry.
Oh, when my nose gets itchy, I've got a smoker spirit in the space. When my nose
Yeah.
gets itchy, that's when I know somebody
Yeah.
that's
You got Tom.
Smoker
I've had you on my show 3 times, and I have never seen even Michelle Wilfong. I want to give her a shout out. She's my mod over on TikTok, and she also has a channel over there, My Haunted Apartment, and she does such a great job.
Yeah.
Everybody over there in TikTok's going, "Wow, what was that?" Like it was like bright, like almost neon red, wasn't it, Kerrilynn?
Well, yeah, it was noticeable.
Yeah, it was really.
Well, people don't realize the powers they have. I mean, we've been blocked. We've been blocked a long time. The human race has abilities they can't imagine how powerful.
Say it all the time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, do you not feel that some people there's accountability attached to all of it, right? So our thoughts, words, deeds, actions, all of it matters.
Well, there are. Yeah, I've warned people that there are penalties.
Yep.
Well, for instance, when the U.S. government and the Russians were remote viewing each other, the Americans were dying of heart attacks, and the Russians were dying of brain hemorrhages because they were trying to use it as a weapon, remote viewing. So I warn people.
That's one of the rules. You can't use it as a weapon.
No. Mm-hmm. Well, I early on I taught remote viewing, and I said if you're going to spy on your wife or spy on your husband, I'm not doing it. You're not going to. That's what does. And everybody has this guilty look on their face.
Why do you think they had those physical consequences? Like it seems like it was a repercussion. Like it's almost like somebody gave them those repercussions when you're seeing that many people being remote viewers, and the Russians, you said, had brain hemorrhages, and the Americans had, I forget what you said.
Either way does.
Like who's making that happen? Where did that come from? Right?
Yeah, I'd like to know too. It's probably general penalties that we've lost so many abilities, probably thousands of years ago, but I've seen it happen. People use an ability like healing. I've worked with 2 of the best healers on this planet, Josephina and oh gosh, I can't remember that. But anyway, they were able to heal anybody of anything, but they always they always use it in a positive way, and if you use it in a negative way to harm somebody, it's going to come around and get you, one way or another.
It's true. Even sessions and stuff like that. Like at the very beginning. So I'm like you, was born this way.
Yeah.
Just was, and things kept happening to do this as my career. So it's been a career. Thank you. It's been a career for me for 19 years now, right? And when I first started doing this, I was not in a very good spot, and single mom and all of those things. And I made it about the money. The very first people, and I made it about the money. That week, every single client that was booked canceled. Every single one. So you cannot make it about things that are, we're being of service for something greater.
You have to make it in service to others in a place of high vibration or high energy without expecting like of course money is an energy source, but if you're strictly doing it for the money, it's the wrong reasons. And right?
100%.
Well,
One question I want to ask you, Tom.
Here's what I used to do. I've
I
done that.
forgot that you did that. You talked about that medical
Yeah,
intuitive.
yeah. Well, I've even
Kerrilynn, and I do it as well. But
yeah,
Kerrilynn astounds me with some of the things she picks up that
yeah,
I haven't.
yeah,
A
yeah.
friend that I introduced her to had come across a cancer diagnosis, and I didn't say anything to her, and she wasn't trying to. She just got the info and tapped in. You knew where it was, you knew what it was.
It really is a muscle, though. Like when you're using that muscle
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But it happens if someone talks about it. For example, somebody was talking to me recently about a health issue they're having, and they've had quite a few non-connected, but all hormonal. And right away, it was like spirit flashed the picture of the pituitary, right? I could see the whole inside of the brain. I could see what was going on with it, right?
Yeah,
it just comes. When you use it, it does. Yeah.
And the more you use it, the more acute it gets, more focused it gets.
Yeah.
But so anyway, with this medical intuitive thing, if I tried to make money with it, I should be a millionaire by now with all the successes I've had. And I used to be around town eating breakfast or something. People would come over to me and say, "Can you scan me?" So I would. I never turned anybody down. I never charged them anything either. But if I tried to make money with it, it stopped. I lost the ability. So I gave up just doing it for free. I've done it on hundreds and hundreds of people just for free. And no, I don't do it voluntarily. I don't do that anymore. It's
you sound like my kid, and I'm sorry I'm gonna out him, but he'll message me, "Mom, can you scan me, please? I feel like I'm getting sick."
Yes, exactly. So,
you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
It's 10 after 8. So should we do really quick?
We should do our station. We got a ton of questions. I've just been starring them in the chat. So we got a lot. You want to do our station ID? Kerrilynn, do you have a handy or you want me to do it?
Yep, I can do it. I can do it. Thanks. If you are just joining us now, thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us. You are listening to Beneath the Hollow Moon on United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. If you are liking what you're listening to and you would like to find out more about our network, please head to uprntalkradio.com and you can find out more about our hosts and our shows. There's always something new happening, new shows being added all the time. We are getting a new website. I heard... Yes. Yeah, we're getting a merch store, potentially all kinds of fun stuff happening.
And a chat where everybody, I think, can go in and actually be in the same space. Yeah.
Yeah. So, follow along. So today we are heading down the trail of Bradshaw Ranch. And for the first time ever on Beneath the Hollow Moon, Lorilei and I have a guest on, a special guest, Tom Dongo. So we're
everywhere you research, anywhere where you look, Tom Dongo's name comes up. Now, Tom, we have a lot of questions. Would you be open to us, sharing some of them?
Sure.
And Kurt's here, and he goes, "Whoa, your guest is Tom. He's a legend, in my opinion. Love all his hard, dedicated work."
Yes,
appreciate him being here.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so our questions. Do you want me just to highlight them, Kerrilynn? You can read them.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Mish, I'm from Australia. So Bradshaw Ranch, Blind Frog Ranch, and Skinwalker Ranch, are they all in the same area? Like cooey of each other?
No, the Blind Frog in Skinwalker is Utah, and Bradshaw Ranch is near Sedona in Arizona. So they're about 700 miles apart. Yeah,
where's Blind Frog again? Because it's lesser known.
It's near Vernal, Utah. And I was there. I had 500 people that showed up for my talk.
Crazy.
And
northwest? Is it northwest of Skinwalker?
No, it's very close. It's on the same trajectory. I mean, it's
okay.
Yeah, no, it's Blind Frog it's different strangeness. So,
but interesting that it's on the same trajectory.
Yeah,
they're very close. They're very close together.
Carrie Fast is saying, did he say remote viewers are being challenged access throughout the earth and blocked?
This would have been earlier in the show.
When we were talking about remote viewing the tunnels under Bradshaw Ranch.
No, I wouldn't say channeled. I mean, challenged. My nose is
So
you know-
I marked the time again. There was something walked back towards that back door. So I marked the time. It was at 8:08 p.m. So we have another thing that we need to double check.
Wow, Tom.
It was misty in the shape of a figure, and it walked from your right shoulder back towards that door.
Yeah. You know, somebody did that. I was talking one night, one of the first talks I did, and there were about 100 people there, and everybody was looking at me like, this guy's nuts. So I think, well, I'm just, you know, they were looking at me, and so finally said somebody said, you know what was going on around you? I said, no, what? He said 5 or 6 blue spheres came through the wall, and one was right behind you for a couple of minutes. That's what everybody was looking at. I thought, boy, I said something. They're pissed, you know. But no, So anyway, that stuff is not uncommon, and it's going on more and more lately too. And it's great because it adds to the mystery, you know.
And more people that don't do this full time, like we all do full time, we all do. Yeah. More and more people are having experience, like regular people are having experience. So we have shifted a frequency somehow.
Yeah.
I don't even feel like we were talking about the veil, like this time of year, everybody talks about the veil, and I don't even feel there's a veil anymore because
we talked about it because Kerrilynn and I talk. We usually talk every day, but it's super busy time, especially for you. So we talked today, and I was talking to her about the veil. Yeah, it doesn't even feel like there's one anymore. Definitely.
Well, you know, I've been talking about this for a long time. The 100th monkey. I said sooner or later somebody's going to discover the secret, and they're going to reveal it. It's going to change. It's going to flash around the world, and everybody's going to know. You might have to
explain what the 100th monkey is. Some people may not know what that theory is.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the origin of it, but it's a new. The 100th monkey is somebody that thinks a new thought, something that's never been done before, of something. And it's gonna instantly flash around the world to anybody that's receptible. So that's what the 100th monkey.
They haven't interacted. Like where it came from, as I understand, they were studying a group of 100 orangutans on an island. They were separated. The stone things. And they started doing something that had never been seen by primates before. Yeah. And I think within the year they were seeing it all amongst primates all around the world, and they never even interacted.
It was stones. They were doing something with tools. They made them into tools, and then it spread. And they were in a remote island, and it spread to apes all over. Well, you know, the same thing is going on with animals right now. Something like elephants and something's going on very strange with animals. I mean, they're more human now than most humans, and so you know, there's a big change going on with animals, and I watched it. I watched a show the other day, and an elephant did something. I mean, I said, that's incredible. That's you know, they're getting real loving. And cheetahs, you know, I saw a woman. These were 5. It's all over the internet. 5 wild cheetahs, and she walked up to them, and they didn't hurt her. They just mewed like cats. And in one case, somebody walked over and pet cheetah. So yes, things are going on with the animals,
and their sense of direction too. Like I can't tell you how many things I've seen with birds, with especially ocean creatures that are not following migratory patterns or getting beached, and all kinds of strange things. So Julie's adding, yes, and some are grouping in large groups, even in the ocean, adding about the animals. So we got lots of questions here. Mish had a good question, and then she kind of shared a bit of the answer. But go ahead.
There is a map of Earth that you can put in a location and see what opposite on a round Earth. Curious what is beneath these places.
And I'll add the second part, so it might make more sense. Mm-hmm.
She added, okay, if I dug a hole, according to my calculations, you would come out in the ocean east side of Madagascar. So I'm
So
assuming
she's
from
talking
Bradshaw Ranch.
Bradshaw. Yeah, she's talking about Bradshaw. Have you heard that before, Tom, or anything associated with that?
No.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong one.
No.
Sorry. Okay, we got another question.
From Amanda Debach. Did anyone pass away on the ranch property?
No, but you know, the Sanawa Indians were here, and there was a lot of them. They disappeared 1,000 years ago. The Sanawa Indians, and they all the cliff cliff dwellings all through the canyons. But they disappeared. Nobody really knows why. It's just the same thing with the Anasazi in New Mexico. They said we have left with the ant people, and there are drawings on the walls of ants. And I had a Hopi friend that he was handed. He was a Zuni elder. He was my best friend. He died about 2 years ago. But he said he was on with the Hopis on the Hopi land, and they showed him of an ant. It was about 3 feet tall.
No way.
Yeah. He said, I saw it. I can't, I don't have a copy of it, but I saw it. And I know he never, ever makes up stories like this. But this ant was doing something with the Hopis.
That's like Middle Earth stories.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've known experts on that. And some of them, boy, some of them I'm going, okay, well, there's a lot of fantasy and misconception going on with some of this stuff. So
What about the story of the green children? I've heard that story, that they claimed that they came from Middle Earth and they didn't speak English. Have you been able to say maybe dig into it, remote view it, anything like that?
No, I haven't. There's some of that stuff takes real intensity that's hard for me to get.
Gotcha.
But look at Admiral Byrd going to South America, went inside into the planet, and he went in front of Congress and talked about that. They said we've got to get rid of nuclear weapons, or we're going to blow ourselves up. He said that in front of Congress. So he talked about going into flying, and kept going, and it's turned green, and he saw the creatures that would have been extinct for 1 million years, but they were there. And they landed. They landed a Nazi swastikas on it. The discs came up, took the plane, landed it. And he was an admiral, You
think maybe that's where the dinosaurs came from on Bradshaw Ranch, like maybe through?
Good point. I've said this. There's been things seen around Sedona that they don't exist here. So I think they got a little bit lost and came out of a dimension, and they just wandered around here for a while and then went back to the dimension. So I think it's the same thing with the dinosaurs, I've talked about this many times on shows. There was a creature. Linda and I were standing around one night, just me and her. We were outside, just me and her most of the time, but sometimes we had film crews with us, And one thing is, somebody got terrorized, everything would stop. Everything stopped. So whatever these creatures are, can't stand human fear. Everything would stop and disappear. A woman got, she got frantic. She was so terrified about something, and everything stopped. And there was a camera crew there, and there was about 16 people there. Everything stopped.
Interesting.
Yeah, no, they do not like human fear. They absolutely, because me and Linda learned that early on. They'd leave. We had creatures around us all the time coming. Linda could see it. They were coming out of the portal. I mean, we were sometimes it was like we were in New York City. We could feel them brushing against us and smell them.
Wow.
And sometimes they smelled real good, and sometimes they smelled real bad, but we could smell them. I think a lot of this stuff is coming from other dimensions. This new thing they've discovered Google figured this out and designed a chip. They've discovered 17 new dimensions, and scientists are really scared what might come out of those dimensions. And they said we don't want to draw them out.
I want to know what the Pope opened. The past late Pope opened 5 portals coming from the Vatican. Portals that they opened. What did you open? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some of this stuff I remote viewed it. Oh yeah, I was I don't, as far as I'm concerned, I've said this before, there's no Satan and there's no devil, but there is out there. Yeah. It's what I call it, an awful evil. I've been face to face with it. You know, that thing, that the Amityville Horror in New York, that thing was in there. I from here, I was taught how to scan things, 2,000 miles away at the Berkeley Institute, Psychic Institute. So that thing was in there, and it really scared me. It was coming out of the cellar, and the house, the Amityville Horror, the house was built on a graveyard. They found out, and that thing, and I call it. I've been face to face with it when I was in Santa Cruz.
Mom, I know. You know what? And you don't have
Santa Cruz is interesting. I've been there.
You don't have the words to explain what that evil looks like. I don't ever want to look in the eyes. Our station manager, and she's coming up after us, Michelle DeRoche, with the second night of the Outer Realm. I was on with her last night. We were talking about exorcisms and things like that. And I have had an experience with a human being that I am telling you, I do not have the words to explain how evil and dark, and it's just, there's not words. What's Santa Cruz? I don't think I've heard that story from you before. Is that what you were saying, Kerrilynn? Santa Cruz?
It's a place.
Yeah, Santa Cruz. It's a town. It's near San Francisco. But yeah, it used to be a wonderful place. Santa Cruz, where all the hippies and surfers went.
Isn't that the vampire movie or is it? Well, remember that one, The Lost Boys?
The Lost Boys. But there's also just outside of Santa Cruz, the Bigfoot Museum.
Oh,
it's. I think it's not called the Bigfoot Museum.
Oh no,
it is. It's the Sasquatch. It's Bigfoot Museum outside of there.
Yeah, no, no, not it's not.
It's outside of Santa Cruz.
Yeah, it could be. I don't. I don't know where.
Because I sat and talked to him. Almost a whole day, because I loved listening to his story. So I just kept asking him question after question after question.
I would have been in heaven being there.
It's right near the redwoods, and then we went into Santa Cruz right after, and it was weird energy there for sure in Santa Cruz.
We have another question, but go ahead, Tom. What you were going to say? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Let's try the question.
Carrie's saying, speaking as a remote viewer and researcher, Skinwalker and Bradshaw are connected to Area 51. Area 51 is the main gate to galactic of planet bases. That's what I see.
Yeah.
It's not a question, but I put it up there because I think it's a good discussion.
Any of this stuff is great because it could be right. I'm a great listener. I'm not a great talker, but I'm a great listener. So I listen to people that I want to. I know. I used to be great with insane people. I would listen, and they'd say something. Yeah, they'd say something. I'd say that was brilliant. What you said. So no, I listen to everybody. I don't. This bickering and squabbling that's going on right now, it drives me nuts. The crap fights. So I wouldn't get involved. I had 2 guys that got with Jesus Christ and the guy in Switzerland. But anyway, those 2 guys got about 4 months. Those guys were fighting over that on the internet.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's
such a waste of energy to focus that way.
Yeah, absolutely, total waste of time, waste of energy. Billy Meyer, Jesus Christ,
Yeah,
and Billy Meyer.
Billy Meyer. Yes, we've had all big discussions in our house because my partner dug deep into that one. Yes, I've heard that argument. As soon as you brought his name up, yep.
Well, it's for real. I had a friend, Michael Hesseman. He's in the Pentagon. I mean well, anyway, so.
Contessa is asking, do people that remote view also have other gifts like telekinesis or telepathy?
Well, it really depends on people. I've been in room with some of the like 6 of the world's best psychics. Psychics fascinate me, and you things happen to you if you're in around these people. Things happen, and there's a lot of spontaneous stuff. It's like it triggers your mind. But I want to talk about this thing that's coming in, this Atlas 51 or 21 hours.
Oh, that's a big thing. Yeah.
31. Is it 31? 31 Atlas?
Yeah. It's 3.1 or something like that. But that thing, I remote viewed it. I could be wrong.
Now you gotta tell us.
Yeah, I am. Yeah. But I always say I could be wrong, and I rarely am. But that thing is alive. It's a living craft,
So
and there are beings.
It's sentient.
Yeah, and there are beings on it that look like orbs, but they're not. They're light balls, and they're a strange creature. I've never remote viewed seen anything like. So I think they don't have anything. They don't want to have any. I can name some remote viewers, some famous remote viewers, and they would bullshit. And people would come to me and is this true? Is this true? I said, no, it's bullshit. So, and I was always right. So
what do you think these beings are? Like, where did they come from? Like, why are they kind of seems like heading towards Earth? Like, did you get any communication or you just observed?
Well, I think they're just traveling somewhere. They know where they're going. And so anyway, it could be a rock. I don't know, but I always say I could be wrong, and I rarely am. So do they want to have anything to do with us? And I get, no, they don't.
They're not making a tourist stop here then.
Well, I hope they do it if they're benevolent. I really do. I've talked about this. I think I talked about it on your show already. But I was standing with Joe McMoneagle at the time. He was the best remote viewer in the country. And I said, I'm thinking, oh, you dummy, that's a stupid thing to do. I mean, I would never make a mistake like that. But Joe, and I was doing it all the time. I've done this stuff. I thought I've got to be crazy. I've got to be getting insane. And it proved out I was right. So I used to go around and visit alien spacecraft in orbit around the Earth. And some of them are 1 million miles out. So, and you come up to them. It bores me now. I don't do it anymore. But so you come up to the ship and you get close to it. And if you're welcome, if you don't feel, but if you fly up to it and you feel threatened, like, don't come any closer, do it. Don't. But Joe, Joe, he ignored the threats. And he went on to the craft, and they grabbed him, and they put him in a glass. I mean, this is Joe McMoneagle. I mean, this isn't small stuff. So they grabbed him and put him in like a glass cage and wouldn't let him go. He said it was terrifying. So I said, I'm thinking, man, that dummy. I mean, I learned early on not to do that.
Well, Joe McMoneagle supposedly taught remote viewing to another guest I have on every now and then, Chris Latara. He's one of the boys of Montauk. And he said, he told me that Joe McMoneagle taught them remote viewing as a child. And I said, oh my goodness, I'm so disappointed to hear that. For people that don't know who Joe McMoneagle is, he was part of the remote viewing team for the U.S. government. And so I said, I'm really sorry to hear that. And what I loved what he said was, no, he had nothing to do with what I went through at Montauk. He was very kind to us, and he really taught us very, very well. So I wanted to share that. It was good.
I'm going to tell you a quick story about Montauk. I mean, I've been into everything. You name it, I've been into it. But a friend of mine, my brain's starting to go. But she went there with her husband, and they said this. I've talked about this a bunch of times. This is weird. The cables she filmed. I saw the pictures she took, and those cables are going underground. There was an a big underground facility at Montauk, and the cables going underground were chopped with an axe. They weren't cut or burned off. They were chopped with an axe. So why did somebody chop them with an axe? Something must have scared the hell out of them. So, you know,
I know. That is another strange place with strange energies, strange anomalies, former U.S. military. Hard to say, but we got another question for you. I think this is the last one so far. Go ahead, sorry.
Kathy Leighton Lemire is asking, are those locations all on the same energy grid line possibly?
Oh, yeah, good question. Yeah, the 36th parallel. Somebody studied that. It's on the 36th parallel. So, yeah, good question. Good question.
So why are they on there, right? Like what?
Don't ask me. I don't know.
Because when I watched the documentary, I don't know if you have more questions, Kerrilynn, but I'll just add this quickly. When I watched a documentary, like it was talking about Linda Bradshaw. She would see a door. Like I know the picture you showed on your book. I saw that in the documentary that it would look like a barn or something next to the windmill. It was all lit up. And from what I saw in the documentary, they said that was when one of the portals was open inside and Linda had gone through a couple of the portals.
Well, no.
That's why I'm asking you. You would know. Yeah, this is something I saw in a documentary, so I wanted to ask you. Hi, Adriana. We have to give her a shout out quickly before you answer that. She is one of our hosts on the network. I remembered Adriana negotiating happiness on Mondays. So we're so glad you're here. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry. So
great. We were talking about weird photographs. This is a Bradshaw Ranch photograph. If you can look at it, see, I'm right on the left, and look at that light. What is it? Somebody took a flash picture of me at night, and but what is it? I mean, this is the kind of stuff that happened on the Bradshaw Ranch.
I would have thought you were in front of a sunny window or something, wouldn't you, Kerrilynn?
No, it was just a flash. You know, flash cameras show things up that the human eye can't see. That's what made Linda Bradshaw and I so successful, because we would walk around taking flash pictures, and usually the camera would see it, but sometimes we could see the object, but it didn't record on the camera. Like for instance, one night, Linda and I were saying this to each other all the time. I says, Linda, if you didn't see that too, I think I was crazy for sure. And we talk about it a little bit. One night there's a white feather in front of us, about 14 feet tall. It was about 5 feet off the ground. And she and I both looked at each other, and I said, Linda, did you see that? But it didn't record on the camera, which is unusual.
Interesting.
So yeah, but the camera and the digital are the same. They can record things the human eye can't see. Usually, because there are too many. The camera has too many frequencies that the human eye can't see. I had a video that proved that why cameras are photograph something human eye can't see. There's a reason for it.
Wow. Do you have advice for people who? Because orbs are a hot topic, right? Orbs can be a pretty divisive.
My statement is you can tell where people are on their paranormal journey by the way they interpret orbs.
Yeah. Do you have advice?
Yeah. Orbs. There's several of them are life forms. And there was a guy in Michigan that did a study on it, a PhD, something or other. He said they have the intelligence about that of a dog. I would agree with that. They're not, because Linda Bradshaw used to attract these things. We finally got a camera that would film in the dark, but they just didn't exist. Digital phones didn't exist then, and cameras that would film in the dark, zero lux, didn't exist. But Panasonic came out with one, and Linda used to follow these. Most, when she left Sedona, she took a lot of this stuff with her, a lot of it. Some of it I wish I'd have gotten copies of, but they would follow her. She walked one time with the camera. She was walking forward, but she had the camera focused back, and all these orbs were, zipping back and forth between trees, following her.
Did you see that? You did see it, right?
I wasn't looking.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
What was it?
Yeah. It zigzagged.
Yeah, it was right. Yeah, it was right here. Here.
See, when I normally look at the camera because I don't like watching myself live, but every now and then you have to, or recording to see what tics you have. I have a terrible habit when I'm thinking of going, and that's usually where the camera will stop and it'll be me looking like, or something.
Yeah.
I think that was pretty cheeky, though. That was pretty cheeky that orb shows up as we're talking about orbs. But
it stopped and then zipped away. So I saw that too.
Yeah, that one zigzagged. Julie, you did see it.
We've never had that before when you've been on my show that I've noticed anyways, and people in the chat would notice it. So this is pretty darn cool. Kerrilynn, you had some really good questions. There was another one you had about I don't know if it was about changing your beliefs or it was about.
Oh yeah. So of all the experiences that you've had or experiences that have been reported, those events, what experiences personally challenged your belief system the most?
Well, I tell people that you need to have an open mind. I mean, you can't shut off your mind to anything. I mean, don't get. Some people get real weird. They go, yeah, okay, fine, bye. But
too airy fairy. Some people get too little too airy.
I can tell you some. Yeah, right. Yeah, they live in Never Land, fantasy land. And some people lay that stuff on me because I get comments from everywhere. I used to get 50 a day. Now I only get a couple. But some of these people, and there's a couple, I won't name them, of course, but every day I get another one from them. And I said, how can anybody believe that BS? How, and if, it's I'm not going to argue with them either. I'm not going to say, that's BS. Why do you believe so? Because you're going to start a fight. You're going to crap fight. So I'm too old to mess with that stuff anymore.
You have stayed.
Did you have a belief? Sorry,
go ahead, Kerrilynn. I just said so. You stayed open-minded, but you go ask. I'm going to stop talking now.
Sorry. Did you have a belief system that you had prior to investigating Bradshaw that changed once you got there? Or
oh yeah, good question. I forgot what it is now. Yeah, okay. I was never into this stuff at all, but I had a ski shop in Reno, Nevada. Me and a couple other guys owned a big ski shop on Milana Lane, and one day. First of all, Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. I studied that for 6 months. That's basically what got me into all this stuff. But I was walking down the sidewalk. Oh, yeah. I was walking down the sidewalk one day, and a giant pair of hands grabbed me. I mean, from my shoulder down to my, yeah. And I said, well, this is kind of cool. I'll go along with it. So it steered me down the sidewalk, and it came to the shopping center, turned me. And I'm weaving through the cars. This is a true story. I mean, I've read about other people having the same thing happen. So I go in. There's a bookstore. So I go through the doors, go through the aisles. I get to the very back, and it bends me over. And I'm looking at a book. It's Seth Speaks by Jane Roberts. So I said, well, I guess I'm supposed to have that. So I took it. I spent 6 months studying that, and basically that's what got me into all of this, because Seth is an intelligence that no human has. The intelligence that Seth had, what Jane Roberts channeled. Mm-hmm. And I studied it for about 6 months. That's what got me into all of this stuff. Yeah.
So after you studied the book for 6 months, were you kind of like, holy cow, after reading this and studying it, I'm realizing the world that I thought exists does not really exist.
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
Well, then I moved to Santa Cruz, and things started happening in Santa Cruz. Because I went to the Berkeley Psychic Institute, and there was a guy You know, as much as I've been involved with, I still don't understand this. At the Berkeley Psychic Institute, you didn't, when you were in a meditation circle, you didn't fall asleep. That was a crime in the Berkeley Psychic Institute. So I fell asleep one night, and I felt an explosion in my stomach. It was like a piece of dynamite. And so I'm looking around the room, you know, and I'm seeing this one guy, he's staring at me intensely. And I think the guy was an extraterrestrial. There's a lot of extraterrestrials among us. They're here now.
Yes, I believe that.
Yeah, because I've been studying them for 50 years. You know, I met one. She materialized right in front of me. And my girlfriend at the time was a witness. And the girl, we talked for about 5 minutes. And the girl I had to put my ear up because she almost whispered, you know, and we were at a petroglyph site, a Sanawa petroglyph site down in a canyon. And that's what she wanted to talk about. So you know, I didn't think, you know, you always get caught by surprise by these things. But I wish I'd have touched her. I wish I'd have asked her if I could touch her. So I know she wasn't an illusion. That my girlfriend was standing right beside me, and we both saw her. So she materialized so close behind me. If I'd have turned around quick, I would have knocked her off her feet. And she was there for about 5 minutes. And then my girlfriend, she'd wandered over a little bit. The creek was roaring because it was spring water. So anyway, she went over there for a minute. I turned back and the girl was gone. I could see for 100 yards in all directions. So she materialized and dematerialized. And I don't, you know, I'm thinking, what else could she have been? She was dressed normally. It looked about 27 years old, and she was nowhere. This is a long story, but she followed us down. And around here, girls, there's very little crime around here, but a woman almost always has a dog with them. She didn't have a dog. That's the first thing. When I saw her up on the rim, when we were up on the rim, and no dog. So I said, something's unusual here. Something's really unusual. So she went over and talked to my girlfriend, and they were talking. And so I kind of motioned her for her to come over to me. She walked out of the woods. She didn't. So anyway, I said, you know, I can't find the trail. It's been raining and the mud was 6 inches thick. I said, you happen to know where the trail is down the ruins, the petroglyphs? And she pointed right at my feet. And I looked and I said, sure enough, the rain changed it. So we went down there and she couldn't have made it. She was dressed in street clothes, had street shoes on. So we got down there, and then she materialized. I mean, what other being, a succubus, a jinn, maybe? But no, I don't think so.
Did she look humanoid, though? Did she look humanoid?
No, she looked very normal, about 27 years old. Mm-hmm. And some of those, I've interviewed a lot of people who've had extraterrestrial contact, and some of those people are 300 years old, 500 years old, or older. I've interviewed a lot of people who've had extraterrestrial contact, and I've interviewed about 200 over the years.
Interesting.
And none of these people were nuts. I mean, they were telling the truth.
Well, and it's brave to share your story. It's brave and to share a story. It's brave.
Yeah.
I looked it up really quick, Tom. The Bigfoot Discovery Museum is in Felton.
Where?
Felton in the Santa Cruz Mountains.
Oh, really? Well, that's something new then. Yeah, Felton is in the Redwoods, smack dab in the Redwoods. I spent a lot of time there. Oh, that's something new then.
Well, cool. I don't know when he built it, but I just know that he is an older gentleman and he's got great stories, and I just let him talk all day.
I wanted to give you a comment from TikTok. There's Chi Mama 50 says, "Oh, Kerrilynn, I just realized it was you, and I have you on Facebook." So I thought I would let you know.
Thanks for being here.
And Michelle Wilfon's over there with the amazing Tom Dongo sharing info from Bradshaw. Go ahead.
It's all right. I can't help it. So I drove up to Alaska from British Columbia, me and my girlfriend. and we crossed. I don't remember the name of the town. We crossed. It was a big bridge over a river, and the town was right there, a small town. But just a couple of days before that, two like 9-foot tall big feet walked the whole main street of the town. Everybody saw them.
Wow.
Everybody's now they'd be whipping out their cell phones, but back this was close to 50 years ago.
So do you believe they're dimensional too?
Okay. My question is, why hasn't people proved big feet exist, photograph or something? I mean, so they're able to dodge us somehow.
And not everybody sees them. It's like I would consider that a very sacred experience if I actually had an encounter with one.
To walk down a main street of a town and have that many people see us.
Yeah. So I it's humorous how they talked about it, because there's a lot of big feet in British Columbia.
Yes.
I researched it once. I knew those two guys. Well, we talked back and forth. The two guys that were real famous.
Patterson Gimley?
No, not Patterson Gimley. I have a woman friend that has that video.
Oh,
the real video?
She has it. Yeah, the original video. Her husband was a famous naval intelligence guy. He died about a year ago. But she has the original Patterson Gimlin film, the original.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and there's all these debunkers. Debunkers drive me nuts. As I put it, I used to be, I was under attack. When I first got into this stuff, I was under attack constantly by skeptics, naysayers, and debunkers. Drove me crazy. So anyway, I'm still around, but nobody says I'm nuts anymore. Debunks me. Nobody. It hasn't happened.
Well, actually, Liz had an interesting thought. She said maybe when we see a Bigfoot, we are seeing into someone's imagination or even their reality.
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be anything. I've been trying to figure it out forever. But I have two friends, good friends, that he bought a huge tract of land in Illinois because there was a Bigfoot family living on it, and he's not nuts. He's a scientist. Mm-hmm. And then there was a woman in Oklahoma just moved to Sedona, and she said we had a family of Bigfoot living on our farm, and we got to be friends with them. And she said they could read books. The female Bigfoot, and she said she would give the female a book, and the Bigfoot would come back and critique it because they could speak English. Yeah, so I mean, this strange thing is going on, and I've heard some.
Why do you think some are rogue and they go bad? I know we're getting.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat the stories I've heard from Alaska, but
I've heard some of them.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Bigfoot stories coming out of Alaska are pretty horrifying. So what's going on? Are they're probably some creature that looks like a Bigfoot, because that does happen.
I was wondering if maybe they've been genetically spliced with something, and because it seems like the ones that have really light, like almost orangey red fur is where I've really seen some very violent stories people have reported.
Yeah. Well, especially near you on that peninsula in Michigan, and
well, actually, that's closer to Kerrilynn than me. I'm closer to. Yeah. I'm 45 minutes away from the Minnesota border, and Duluth, Minnesota is about 3.5 hours away.
Yeah.
Kerrilynn, you're in Southern Ontario, but Kerrilynn also came from Northern Ontario, but she's closer, I would think. When Kerrilynn was Sault Ste. Marie?
Yeah, so I was Sioux, Canada. So border Sioux, Michigan.
But I think you're closer to where Tom's talking about even now where you are in Southern Ontario.
Yeah, that loop of land, that peninsula that's between, I guess, Wisconsin and Michigan.
Oh, gotcha.
That's I've read some really scary stories. Stuff goes on there with campers.
I was trying to think of what Tom's last name is from from BC. So I had him on as a guest. Another Tom, you Toms all know the stuff. So he is an Indigenous fellow, and he feels that the rogue ones, or these ones that are more like Wendigos, or these scary Sasquatch, are pushed out from the community because they went rogue. They're pushed out and not part of the community. So that's his belief, and maybe there's some validity to that too.
Well, it is a mystery. I tried remote viewing some of this stuff. I don't get anywhere, but there's something going on with Bigfoot. I mean, why hasn't somebody got some? Well, the Patterson Gimlin film is real. I mean, they've never debunked that.
Yeah,
the muscles are too real. The female is moving. The muscle, they can't focus. But there's plenty of debunkers. They all that's BS. For this reason or that reason. I go, oh man, I see around. But so I mean, a lot of times so much now is fake. I've seen a couple
AI.
that artificial just, and people believe it. I've seen Donald Trump selling foot soap, something like that. You're going, come on, come on.
We have to be mindful of our time. We're
almost out of time. This has flown by.
Could you hold your book up again for us one more time?
Oh, yeah. Everybody buy one.
Yes, please. Everyone buy one.
Merging Dimensions. We're signing a contract right now to do this in 7 languages. It's complicated, so it'll take a while.
Ranch. Yeah, right. So Merging Dimensions.
Yeah, Merging Dimensions.
And if people want to not miss out on the opportunity of you and Maureen St. Germain together teaching remote viewing, where should they follow so they can not miss out?
Yeah, it should be real good, but I don't know. She's I asked her. I asked her if she had the flyer done. She says no. So we'll put up.
Yeah, but you'll probably put it on your website, right, Tom, and social media. So how could people kind of follow you if they wanted to?
Well, they can't. My website's been dead for years. I haven't even seen it in about a year and a half.
I did. Where do you think I got your bio from?
Oh yeah, I know. It's funny
purchase the book wherever you purchase books, and follow Maureen St. Germain for remote viewing.
You're on social media too, though, Tom. Yeah. I know you're on Facebook and stuff under Tom.
Yeah, well, all my books are on Amazon. So I steer everybody that way, Amazon. So
I'm so glad that you came on. I know we have a date just before Valentine's Day on the Angel Rock with you coming on. Thank you so much.
You want to come on Spirit Switchboard? I'm a Friday night show with the.
I told her you got to have him on because you could go anywhere with Tom.
I just want to talk about remote viewing for 2 hours.
Yeah, we can cause a lot of trouble.
Let's do it.
Our audience here is asking that we have you back to just talk about remote viewing too. So.
Yeah. Well, how many? We got a couple of minutes. Remote viewing is really easy. You can project yourself. Keep projecting yourself to somewhere where you grew up or whatever, and sooner or later you'll find yourself there, and then you'll know you're a remote viewer. It's that simple.
Yeah, that's what you shared. We went a little bit into it on the Angel Rock, but we should remind people, because we like to be off of here just before the start of the next hour, but you guys don't go anywhere, because the second night of the Outer Realm is coming up with the amazing Michelle DeRoche, who is also our station manager. She also has Beyond the Outer Realm on Tuesdays from, I believe it's 2:30 till 4, and then both nights with the Outer Realm. Kerrilynn, who do you have coming up on tomorrow night on Spirit Switchboard?
Have Lucky Paranormal, who are hosting the Lake Superior Paranormal Convention. I will be speaking there again this year, so that's in October. So that's who's coming.
Kerrilynn in person finally again. I saw her last year.
We
and
have
on
Sorry, go ahead.
Finish. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Me?
No. Well, go ahead then. Okay, so on the Angel Rock on Monday night, I have a friend of mine that has been a friend for years, and I have not had him on the show in a long time. Age Nost from
Broadcasting.
I love Augie. Augie and I were on the same network before. I was just on Broadcast Team Alpha, and his co-host, unfortunately, wasn't there, but she's a good friend too, Nori Love. So he is coming on Monday night. I have no idea what we're talking about, but I am telling you, Augie is kind of like Tom. You could just about go anywhere with the conversation. So thank you so much for being here, Tom. What are we talking about?
Love you guys. Namaste and all that stuff. So,
Thank you.
What are we talking about next week, Kerrilynn?
So next week on Beneath the Hollow Moon, we were talking about zombies and scarecrows. So things that don't die. We are in spooky month. So thank you very much, everybody in the chat. Thank you for your questions, comments. We appreciate and adore you all. You make the show what it is. Thank you to the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 in the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans. Thank you to our owner, Joe Montaldo, and our station network manager, Michelle DeRoche, who is up next with The Outer Realm.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Tom. Oh, he's taking another picture. Night, everyone. We'll see you. Yes, Kerrilynn, tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Eastern. Come back for the Angel Rock Monday, 6 p.m. And we love you all. And stay tuned for Michelle. And I believe Wayne is joining her tonight, her partner. So you guys.
Yeah, mirror on the wall. They're talking